everybody. Welcome back to another Gooner Gathering second stream of the day. It's unheard of on this channel. And I am joined this time by the poshest man in sports entertainment. Posh Bertie, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Good to have you.
Yes, I'm doing very good. Good to see you. And our we'll get to Sam in a minute, but is this his debut?
It is
Or...
Sam's
It
debut
is.
on Gooner's Gathering.
There
Long
we go.
awaited,
So
mate.
it's a historic occasion, but I'll let you introduce him.
I will do. It is an absolute privilege to bring on a very knowledgeable young man and Fabio Vieira's lookalike. Sam Wilson, how are you, mate? It's good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's good, thank you. I'll take the Fabio Vieira thing because I'm sure he's a hit with the ladies. So yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Well, I have absolutely no doubt our viewing figures on our stream today are going to go through the roof because of you, sir. So, just the question: Do you have Fabio's skills?
No.
No. That was pretty conclusive then.
Absolutely not.
Fair enough. Well, look, we've got a lot to cover on this show today. We've got a busy weekend at Arsenal, as my laptop has just frozen. So it's a good job I'm on this phone, isn't it? Trust me. Can you guys still see me? Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
Right. I'm going to abandon this laptop. If anyone can, afford to get me a laptop, leave us a comment or drop us a subscribe and maybe help Lee. That'll be grand. So yeah, we've got lots to cover today. I'm going to dump that on there so I can see what I'm doing. Right, the ladies' team have got a massive game in the WSL on Sunday before the North London derby. We've got a game at the Emirates against Chelsea, and like I mentioned, North London derby over at Spurs as well. So I think what we'll do first, we'll do it chronologically, if you like. We'll cover the ladies' team first, which is Sam's area of knowledge, and then we'll cover the news, and then we'll cover the North London derby in that sort of fashion, if you like. How does that sound, guys?
All good to me.
Fantastic. So this is the first WSL game back since the winter break. I believe the ladies' last game was when they played in Champions League against Zurich in the 9-1 win. There you go. Posh has been doing his research as well. Well done, mate.
Yep, sure. Oh.
Yeah, sure he goes.
Sure, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a football game, if I'm honest. It was more the ladies turn up and I had to kind of still see whether there was another team they were playing against or whether it was just them on the pitch.
It was a rather glorified training session, in all fairness, at the end, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But we've had a lot go on in the side, lots of news covering, as Matt would have brought up a little bit on the transfer broadcast that happened this afternoon. Of course, Jordan Nobbs, Arsenal legend, has left the club now as well. We've got Beth Mead and Vivian Miedemar, who are both nursing ACL injuries. So how are your feelings going into this top of the table clash, Sam?
To me, I think even though you've got some key players out, the 40,000 tickets that we sold is going to be a massive boost. I didn't quite expect it because it's just unfortunate that the days, you could say unfortunate, you could say, I don't know. But it's kind of unfortunate that it was on the same day. Well, the North London derby got moved, didn't it? So,
yeah.
I think bar that, you would have seen a lot more. You'd have probably seen Tottenham-esque kind of attendances again. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think we should go into it confident. I think we've beat Lyon this year.
Yep.
Champions of Europe last season.
Comprehensively as well.
Comprehensively, and with players out ourselves. Yes, they had players out, but we had players out as well. So yeah, I don't think we should have any fear whatsoever going into it. We just go out, and I think the Emirates pitch as well, the women are somewhat used to it now. I don't think, because that was the thing in the earlier games that they weren't used to it. But I think they've got kind of a feel of it now, so I don't think that even comes into play really.
No, I would hope not. I mean, they've played a fair few games there now. It was the last match they played there against Man United, I think. Yeah, 3-2 defeat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the thing that you can't ask for a better carpet to play on. It's going to be obviously a wider pitch than Meadow Park. That's absolutely for sure. But I'd like to think we'll go in the game, like you say, confident. Other than that defeat against Man United, the ladies have played very, very well. And so the winner of the game Sunday, it's Sunday, isn't it? They will go top of the table.
I don't think other than that, other than that game that we lost to Man United, I don't think we've lost a game other than that. I think that was our first loss of the whole season.
I think you may be correct there. Perhaps one in the Champions League, but we were already through anyway.
I won't say that was a draw. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was also nice that the women's have got. I know we're going to talk about around the stadium as well. I'm really pleased to see that the women's have been kind of included in that.
It's been very well included. Faces of the past there as well. I'll bring up a couple of names that you might be surprised I know as well. Leanne Sanderson, of course, Rachel Yankee from way back in the day. There's names possibly Posh won't not know too much of there. But
is Kelly Smith involved?
Absolutely.
I know her.
Very good, very good. But yeah, it's nice to see, especially with many more games being played at the Emirates now. It's nice to have them surrounded amongst the, treated like an equal, if you like. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to reference to, and the fact that they've been thought of by the club now, I think is really nice, because before they wouldn't have been, even though they were super successful and one of the most successful women's teams ever, probably the most. So.
Absolutely, especially early doors under Viv as well. Vic, sorry, especially under Vic Akers.
So yeah, that's really pleasing as well.
What sort of form are Chelsea coming into this?
Picked up. They started off a bit rocky, but that was because they had some key players out. I believe they've picked it up a lot since then. I'm just going to bring up.
I think their last fixture may have been in the Champions League themselves, possibly against PSG.
Yeah. I think they had one No. Ignore me. They've done
I can't ignore you. You're my guest, Sam.
No, I was.
You're the one with the knowledge here, sir.
Yeah, I was about to say that they struggled in the Champions League, but they really haven't. So they're coming off. They haven't lost in the last, God knows how many, a lot anyway. Well, I don't.
Analysis you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's just fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're coming in on unreal form as well, so it would be a game to watch for sure. I think it will be of the same vein as the last time we played Chelsea at the Emirates. That was a 3-2, wasn't it?
It was.
I think it could be exciting as that, to be fair, because there's big stakes on play that it will take both. It will take whoever wins to the top, won't it? So
yeah, absolutely. Do you think any of the new signings that Matt spoke about on our previous? Hello, Luca. Nice to see you, mate. Any of the new signings that Matt spoke about earlier on? Do you think they'll play in the front line, or do you think there may be sort of bench places and leave the team established to start off?
No, I think they'll be bench. I believe they're younger, sort of more kind of for the future players. I don't think they're going to come in and set the world to rights and kind of make that much of a difference straight away. I don't think I think it will be a case of them getting minutes here and there.
Fair
My
enough.
understanding, I don't know a great deal about them, but that's my brief understanding. I'm going to go back and watch Matt.
Yeah, definitely. The video's still on the channel.
That's someone that knows more than me, even. So he's probably got more of an understanding. But they weren't names that jumped out at me.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be more kind of future players.
Okay, fair enough. One player I do know has left Chelsea recently to join Tottenham is Beth England,
Mm-hmm.
member of the Lionesses European winning squad, European Championship winning squad, I should say. That really surprised me. But they're a strong outfit themselves, aren't they? We're even without her.
Yeah, they are. I think it's because I believe it's a record fee for a WSL player in the country.
Yes.
So I believe even if they want to keep her, the money would have kind of spoke and kind of because in women's football that's a heck of a lot of money for someone to go. So they probably wanted to keep hold of her, but when money like that comes along, I don't think you could turn it down.
Absolutely, fair enough. Well, it'll be a heck of an occasion. What do you think? How do you think the game's going to go? What do you think for a prediction?
I'm going to go bold and go with a 3-2 again.
Oh, a nice,
2-1
exciting.
Arsenal.
Fair enough. We're going 3 Arsenal wins here, I think. We'll be on the stream and nice and positive.
I think the difference could be the fans. I think that could be ultimately the difference between the two.
Absolutely, I'll go with that. And so it's going to be an exciting occasion. We will during the half time when myself and Posh are going to do the live watch along for the North London derby. I will go into it. Perhaps if Posh goes for a drinks break, and I'll go and explain what had happened during the lunchtime, and we'll have it all covered on the channel. So Posh Bertie, I think I'll come to you for the next one because Sam did mention it briefly. So I'll just press that there, hopefully not knocking my phone down. There we go. Did you see the unveiling of the artwork over on the Arsenal website yesterday?
Well, first of all, I noticed that Arsenal's social media said, "Oh, today 6 p.m. the future of the Emirates changes," and some fickle fans went, "Oh my God, they've announced Mudryk! It's gonna happen!" No, of course it is. Of course it wouldn't happen, but it's to announce the new stadium artwork, and yes, it looks very good. And as you mentioned, it's good to have involves the Arsenal women's team, which is always good to see.
Members from the ladies' team, members of the teams gone by as well.
Yeah.
You see likes of Bob Wilson, Dave Seaman in there as well. Had Kevin Campbell. I saw Jill Armstrong was at the stadium yesterday as well. It was the daughter of George Armstrong.
I saw a lot of photos of the some Arsenal legends as well. They had Ian Wright, Lee Dixon as well. There's a very good photo of Wright, Dixon, and David Seaman together, which is very nice to see. It's a good photo.
Absolutely fantastic. We'd love to see all of that. So if you haven't seen it, check it out on the Arsenal website. I would like to put it up on the screen, but A, my PC's failed, and secondly, I don't want to get a copyright strike on the channel, really. So, but yeah, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a look. If we cross to Sam, just carrying on the ladies' team just a little bit, there is a bit of news. Of course, Vivian Miedemar picked up the ACL injury, but she has won the WSL Goal of the Month for December. If you didn't know that,
I was just going to say about the artwork. It's all well and good showing it off, but it's not actually up yet. It's just blank because some people that I know rushed to the Emirates yesterday to see it, and it's still exactly how it was. So it's still blank. It's still not there. And
okay.
So it's all computer generated images at the moment.
Oh, so it's all plans in place kind of thing, is it?
Yeah. So we're dependent that we're going to try and put it up today.
Right.
But I haven't seen anything about it, so so I'm guessing they haven't. It
Fair
makes no
enough.
sense because you'd think they'd have it up for the weekend, but maybe
Would
not.
hope so. So, Miedemar for goal of the month in December.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember
Remind me
it? Goal against Everton in the 1-0 win,
oh God.
where she received, I think the move started from Lotta at centre back, and she moved it on. She weaved a little bit and struck it through with quite some power on her left side.
I think that was the only game I missed.
Fancy missing the game, Sam. Never mind. Never
um,
mind. It's all good.
Yeah, so
I just wanted to bring it up. I haven't got much more to add on that. It's just I thought I'd bring up a little bit of news on it whilst we were covering it. It's all good. And of course, obviously, we know that both Miedemar and Beth Mead are injured currently, and hope their recoveries are going well. So let me just take that down. Right. How about the other big clash that's been going on today on social media? You guys heard of this one? Arsenal versus the FA. Right. This rattled me, this did, when this came down today. So this is for the second men's game in succession. The FA have come out with a nice little statement charging Arsenal with failure to control their players. Now, if you recall, this happened in the Premier League against Newcastle. The handball that myself and Posh disagreed with. But they same sort of thing. Yes, Posh, go on.
No. If you're referencing, are you referencing the handball in the last kick of the game?
I am, yes,
Because
absolutely.
I actually thought it was because I saw it hit his forearm.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not that wasn't up for debate at all. It definitely hit it. The discussion that we were having was whether it was like could he done anything about it, but
Right. Okay.
be that as it may. So I believe, let me just make sure I get the timing right, because I think off the top of my head, it was
34.
sub 34, the Jacker minute.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's an old reference from an old channel. In what was the only first half highlight of the game, I don't quite remember, quite honestly, how Sambi got hold of the ball, but he got the ball in the penalty area, let go a left-footed strike, and in all fairness to the defender, it was a jolly good save.
Shades of Suarez against Ghana. So
You're not wrong, are you? But and of course, there wasn't as we said this on the review show, didn't we? There wasn't any VAR at Oxford. Of course, there wasn't. But because Arsenal went up for the penalty, shout, and honestly, I've looked back a couple of times in that. For me, I felt that they did nothing particularly wrong. They just appealed for the penalty. Guys, I'd like your thoughts on this, please.
So
I believe they're just kind of making up rules each week because there was only, if you count, there were 3 players with the referee.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But what I don't get is they're putting out on social media and stuff that we're in breach of some rule, but then they're not putting out the punishment in the same. They're just stating as to why they're punishing. So
are they investigating? I think it might be the terminology, which means that they're looking into it, and then perhaps will announce something.
The only thing that makes me disagree with that is because it says we have until a certain date to appeal it.
Oh, okay, to respond to the charge, right?
Yeah. So that means that they've filed the charge against if we've got so long to respond against it. We won't have had time to respond against the first one.
No.
So we've just got a second one thrown. So we've probably got the decision now of having 2. It just confused me today when I saw that.
Interesting timing as well, isn't it? Interesting timing. Coming up towards the North London derby, and we know a certain England captain's record of falling over in the penalty area during North London derbies, etc. Not that I'm sounding bitter or anything like that, but
we know a certain Swiss midfielder who plays for us that tends to get a bit aggressive when it comes to these games.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they certainly we'll come on to that in just a minute, but they're going to have to be on their very best behaviour and make sure they're well disciplined. We'll come on to that in just a minute. I think just wanted to touch on. So we just mentioned the Oxford game. But it would be interesting to see if the FA charged the referee with failing to do their job and giving a handball. Just a little argument point, just for a little ha-has from me.
Can I come in to talk about this? So I know this is a very oh my god, this is a close up here.
That's the sexy shot, mate.
You can see every one of my blemishes now. Because this is a very well thoughtful channel. I try my best not to be so conspiratorial about these things, but it does feel like an agenda, doesn't it? And I tweeted out today, don't mean to brag, but it got a few good number of likes, and I managed to give our channel a little cheeky plug as a result of that. I said on Twitter, okay, so the FA have fined us twice, but when I watched Brentford versus Liverpool about 2 weeks ago now, and the Liverpool players were shouting up in arms at the referee and giving him all of that for giving a decision against them. Nothing. Did absolutely nothing. So me being the media and the FA hates Arsenal and supports Liverpool, me being the guy that I've become now, it does feel like it is unfair. Especially considering, we did exactly, let's be honest, we did do kind of what they did and disagreed with the referee over a decision, but we're the ones getting fined. Yeah, that's how it feels. I mean, yeah, it really is. It's very, and as you said, coming up to North
annoying
London
is probably the word. Yeah, exactly.
I can use stronger words, but this is a family-friendly channel.
Thank you very much. I'll remind you of that on Sunday. I'll remind you very much on that. Mind you, if you recall, back in our previous life, we got through the North London derby last year. It was a tough old watch, in all fairness. We'll get onto it in just a minute. But we got through without a single blemish on our reputation, lads. We did a cracking job. So fair enough. Right. We mentioned the Oxford game, and I do want to bring this up because this was a very interesting piece of news that came out via the Daily Mail.
What an unbelievably precise and genuine reporter.
Well, okay, we'll get onto it in just a minute. But the story is
Hodges.
The story is that this has come out. I believe the chap is called Kieran Brown. He got booked for a foul on Saka, and there's a bit of talk going around that he may have been doing a little bit of bragging about and you see these, I'm not a betting person myself, not at all, right? But you can get all sorts of odds on players getting yellow cards and first goal scorer and all that sort of thing. Well, apparently this lad, he was 8-1 to get a yellow card, and there's allegations, and it's purely allegations at this stage, of him putting a £200 bet down. So we are talking quite a bit of money, to be honest. And there are screenshots that are going around social media saying he's rather bragging about it. Rather stupid thing to do, if you ask me. If this is absolutely spot on, and I am approaching it with a bit of caution in my voice, gentlemen, do you think this is really happening? Is what Sam obviously thinks that the reporters are a little bit questionable. How would you want to go with this one, Sam?
I instantly it came up on Sky Sports on my phone. I was just about to go to bed, and I thought my instant reaction was, "Oh God, what have they done Arsenal for now?" But I looked at it in the morning, and it's precise. They're questioning the minute that it was on
Mm-hmm.
and the person that it was. Well, it's just I fail to see how they. There doesn't seem much substance to it, if I'm honest.
Other than the allegations of screenshots and stuff on the phone, which
Yeah.
I know I've seen, but whether it's purely factual and stuff is something I am being a bit careful with.
That very lightly because we know what people can do now in terms of phone screens and making it look like someone's phone screen when it's not. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure you'd be. Hopefully, you wouldn't be that silly as a football player, but
well,
I could be wrong.
You say that.
A certain Brentford striker has.
Yeah.
What's happening? Does anyone know what's happening about that?
Because surely under investigation with Ivan Toney, I believe.
Because surely you can't carry on being a.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I've been surprised that Brentford have carried on playing him. Apart from, of course, he picked up his injury. Of course, that's why he's been missing the last few. But I don't know. I would imagine it would have been quite difficult playing that on your head. But it is not unheard of that there's been controversy in the FA Cup in this sort of thing. If you recall, the fifth round, Arsenal against Sutton. And their reserve goalkeeper, do you remember this? Wayne Shaw.
How can I forget?
The 45-year-old at the time was fined £375 and got a 2-month ban for eating a pie in the dugout. Unbelievable scenes. Obviously, that led to an awful lot of embarrassment, and the chap ended up resigning. And it's just it's always Arsenal. There's always something going on, isn't there?
Well, I think I would rather, I mean, what's more dodgier, putting a bet against yourself deliberately on a football match, or just eating a pie? What's more dodgier here? Come on.
Exactly. I believe there was.
If I was if you were fired for eating on the job, I would have been fired about 500 times by now. So
So you can sign up for the Posh Bertie health plan in the link below.
I'll make it's more Brian Butterfield than that kind of thing.
Mate, you've got me a reference there I do not understand, and that doesn't happen very often. But never mind. We'll move on from it. We'll move on from it. So yeah, this is still under investigation. It's all still allegations at the moment with the Oxford player. Ultimately didn't affect the result because Arsenal won 3-0 at the end. So that will do for that. Right, another bit of transfer news, if you like. I think you're going to like my banner here. You feel Rafinha? Oh yeah. Obviously, the former Leeds midfielder Rafinha was highly linked with us in the summer, and he ended up going to Barcelona. Sounds like he's having a bit of a tough time over there at the moment. It sounds like Barcelona may be willing to let him out, potentially on loan. Now, this is a target that I was very much for at the time when it was first time, leaving Leeds. Would be a good target to have. I'm not so sure coming second hand from Barcelona. I'm not sure about his form. I'm not sure about his motivation. I would like you chaps' opinion, please.
Well, Barcelona do need to. I don't know much about their financial situation, but they're in a state where they do need to sell some players, I believe. Look, I mean, I really liked Rafinha when he was at Leeds. I always thought he was a good player, and I haven't seen much of him at Barcelona, as you said, probably because he hasn't started much games. But
yeah, exactly.
No, I've not really been an expert of what he's been doing at Barcelona. If I think it's more of a case of if we don't get Mudryk, then this might be something we can, I don't know, fall back on or something. I don't know. It's something along the lines of that.
Sam?
I question whether we should even think about him at all, because if excuse me, if you can't physically put yourself into that Barcelona team at the minute that are in dire straits, I would say he's not even worth looking at. There's other people there that I'd look at before I'd look at him. I don't want players that, well, yes, he's probably got more money. I also don't want players that don't want to play for Arsenal. He could have said he wanted to play for Arsenal, so yeah, it would be a no from me.
With the tones of Simon Cowell going through you there, it's a no from you.
Pressing the big red buzzer. Yeah.
Exactly. So we seems like we voted him off then. So, is there any other names that you would like to put in the hat? Perhaps someone you might want to take in. Obviously, the Modric one is one that keeps on flying about, and he's and even the Shakhtar Twitter page just. They're just adding fire to it with putting pictures of him training just recently on Twitter. Is there anybody that you might have heard or you would like to throw a name out that you might want us to go for?
Dominic Polion from Ebbsfleet. No, don't get any Ebbsfleet players. We need them.
Who?
Dominic Polion from Ebbsfleet.
This is his thing, He always keeps on going about it, the mighty Ebbsfleet. They're back in winning ways, I believe. But we'll
that's
talk about that
We're
Sunday.
talking about Arsenal at the moment.
Exactly.
There's one we're actually speaking to Milinkovic-Savic's agent, apparently.
Yes.
That has been going a bit mental over the last few days. So there's a Newcastle, apparently.
Okay.
It will bring good strength in the midfield, because I still think, although our midfield is okay at the moment, I still think we're one injury away from disaster again. So we're all kind of focusing on this winger, which I don't think is as important as a midfielder that's backup.
Yeah.
I still don't entertain we're going to be pushing with Man City. I still don't entertain that. But at the same time, I do think we need to kind of prioritise, and that I think at the moment, a midfielder is kind of more where I'm at from that Oxford game before, because I think we're in trouble if we have to use any of those.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I understand where you're coming from, and I do like the cautionary approach when we talk about Manchester City, but they are not invincible themselves. I like that invincible word.
Mm-hmm.
They went
I did as well until November. But
yeah. What I'm going to get at is, we've of course drawn City in the fourth round of the FA Cup. They themselves, City, got knocked out of the League Cup. I believe it was last evening by Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
I've got their next 7 fixtures in front of me, which do have some very interesting reading. And yes, I know there's a very different squad that's probably going to go into these fixtures, particularly certainly the next couple, which are difficult fixtures to go into. But they're talking about, this is the testing point for Arsenal with these fixtures. Let me tell you, City's fixtures. They've got Man United away. They've got Tottenham home. Then Wolverhampton Wanderers at home. Then they've got us in the FA Cup. Then they're going away to Tottenham, home to Villa, and then they've got us at the Emirates in the league. So that's a difficult run that they've got to deal with. And I think after them 7, I think it'd be very interesting to see where they're still at in what competitions and what amount of points they've got. Let me just have a look. There's a comment that's just gone on there. Niall Kane is back in the house with us. Regular viewer for everybody. It's nice to have you in the stream again. Your thoughts on City before we'll carry on?
We just need to focus on what we're doing. I think you can kind of get carried away by watching what other teams are doing, but ultimately we've just got to carry on doing what we're doing. see where that leaves us. I think the next two, I think if you're going to even think about the idea of challenging with them for the title, then we've got to win the next two, regardless of what happens with them.
Yeah.
And then people can kind of put up an explanation then. But until these two games are finished, I don't think you can even think about it. Because if I look at it this way, when they come to play us in the FA Cup, they could put a second string team out and still be comfortable.
It'll still be a very good team.
If we put that team that played at Oxford on against City, they would annihilate us. So, yeah, I just think that's where I sit on it at the moment.
Fair enough.
Can I say when I know this is a bit in regards to City, it's a bit off topic, but when you talked about any players you'd like Arsenal to look for in the transfer market, I've actually got a bit more of a serious one here. A player who caught my eye during the World Cup is Rafael Leao, who is a young Portuguese winger. I think is he playing the same position as Saka? I don't know. But the issue is, if we get him, both Saka and Leao are both very young and promising, and trying to get. I'm not sure one could be a backup for the other. I don't know, but he's a player that's caught my eye, and I think would be a good addition. But,
do you know what club he plays for, Posh?
AC Milan, I think.
AC Milan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's definitely worth a look, isn't it? I know the chap you're thinking of. I do recall it. Although this old brain has a bit fuzzy on top sometimes. But yeah, I get you. It's a good shout. Any more in City, or shall we move on?
No, we don't need to talk about them, do we?
Okay. Well, we'll move on to the.
Make sure you leave your unbreaker.
So I think we have a run in there somewhere, mate. Sorry about that. But right, so we have the small matter of the North London derby coming up on Sunday as well. So here we go. This is where it's going to get juicy, everybody. We know the history. We know what happened last season in this fixture, where the thoughts of us going to the Champions League were starting to evaporate a little bit. We had a bit of a rough time there last season. We got beat 3-0. Everything that possibly could have gone wrong did go wrong. Don't want to bring that up too much, but we're a little bit of a different sort of outfit now, I would hope. Spurs coming into this after a couple of wins themselves after the break. They beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup, and Matt Roberts is in the chat. Expect a swimming pool performance. Get your guesses in from when they get their annual
mentioned
penalties.
this.
Well, we know it. We know. It's almost like I wonder if the referee's put a bet on when he's going to give the penalty. But controversial opinion, which is not representing the views of Gooner Gathering. It's just mine. But yeah. So Kane got the 1-0 win against Portsmouth in the FA Cup this week. He's on 265 goals for Spurs. Is one behind the great Jimmy Greaves. That's for the all-time Spurs record. Just throw that out there as well. And they came back to Premier League action with a 4-0 away from home win at Crystal Palace. Now, they did rather destroy us, and particularly Rob Holding had a bad night, or bad evening, if you want to, at White Hart Lane last season. Of course, they got rather out-muscled in the first goal, got the red card for the second, or just prior to the second goal. And they absolutely punished us, and we never had a look in. But to look on the positive side for us, we're going in with Eddie Nketiah, 4 goals in 4 matches. Prior to these last couple of wins, Spurs were looking a little bit fragile themselves, I felt. So here we go. The big questions are, how are they going to line up, and how's this going to go, and when's the penalty coming?
I know. So obviously, I'm a lot more I mean, we still have to proceed with caution when it comes to these games because it is going to be very tough.
Mhm.
Tottenham have, been a bit inconsistent as of late, losing to Villa and then beating Palace very comprehensively. So they're going to want to, they're going to turn up. Obviously, it's a North London derby, but I think I'm more. I hope this could be famous last words, but I think it won't be as stressful and depressing to watch as it was last time. I don't think. Hopefully,
That's a bold prediction.
I didn't say the score. I didn't say what the score's going to be though. But I think I saw will Eddie be able to cope with the next two games? Well, we'll see. I hope so because he's been on
let you know on Sunday.
I
don't see any reason why he can't. But then I know I'll come with this reputation. I back him to the hill, and that's absolutely genuine. I'll put my name on the line if you like. He can't do any more than he's already been doing. And it's big boots to fill in Jesus. He's coped pretty well so far. I mean, obviously we couldn't get the goal against Newcastle, but maybe
he had a good chance though against Newcastle. I remember.
Had an excellent chance right at the end, didn't he? But my kind of thinking is it's going to be somewhat unusual to see, maybe someone playing with a little bit more possession than us. I do fancy us getting them on the break. That's where I think our goal will come, and I wouldn't mind betting that man gets the goal himself.
I think also this is how much I think a lot of people have said this as well. If you did a Arsenal and Tottenham combined 11, and this isn't me being a biased Arsenal fan, I think that the only Tottenham player that can get into that team with greatest respect to Eddie is Harry Kane. And that's coming up against a very informed Eddie Nketiah. So in terms of form, our players have been the better side.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'm not ruling out Sonny as well, of course, who managed to get back on the score sheet just recently against Palace. And he started the season a little bit difficult. I believe his only goals prior to the Palace game would have come in a game he came on as substitute and he scored 3. So I'd say they're a dangerous outfit. That's for sure. But the way I've seen them defending, and I don't like sort of singling out people particularly, but I've seen Hugo Lloris play an awful lot better. Hoping this isn't clipped, and I'll be up on with the sticks. There'll be people coming for me. But I've seen Lloris play an awful lot better than he's playing at the moment. That's absolutely for sure. So
he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, absolutely, and he wouldn't have got to World Cup finals and got the honours that he has without being a top quality goalkeeper. It's just my observation.
When he saved that shot from Bellingham, I remember against France. Very good.
Absolutely.
Him, yeah.
Oh, against England, yeah, I get you. I get you. Yeah. So, I've got to ask you: are you feeling confident going into it?
But I'm a bit more cautiously confident than as I was last season, and I say cautious, emphasis on the word cautious here. Sam,
I think the problem is with games like this. I think form and how you're doing kind of goes out the window a little bit. Well, not a little bit. I think completely, and I think it's partly down to who's more fired up for it. I just wish it could have been. Why couldn't it have been any other game? It could have been any other game, couldn't it? That he managed to hopefully not get his however many goals it is, and I don't really care. But it could have been any other game, couldn't it? It didn't have to be this one, did it?
Who knows? It could be set up for him to absolutely mess it up. And I've got to say, we've got to bear in mind caliber of Spurs' recent opponents. Like that, okay, they struggled to a 1-0 win in the cup against Portsmouth. Palace aren't
that was their second team, though. I think,
exactly. They wouldn't have played Harry Kane if they weren't worried, though. So look, who knows? I'm going in confident. That could change very quickly, as we know from last season. But all I'll say is, in preparation to the game, myself and Posh will be on air at 4:15 on Sunday. So if you want to see us get really stressed and jumping about, shouting and screaming, and providing alternative expert commentary, make sure you
and occasionally the odd reference that has nothing to do with the football.
That may well happen.
I think we've got to somewhat forget about the occasion and just go out and play football as if it's any other game. I know it's not any other game, but I think you can get too wrapped up in the fact that it's this massive game and that we need to win. And I think we just go in on the form that we have been and just take it as any other game, really.
Yeah, and we've got to kind of put the the overwhelming stat that's in my head at the moment, which I didn't really want to bring up, but I'm going to anyway because it's quite telling one that we haven't actually won away at Spurs since the 2014, I think it is, season. Thomas Rosiecki scoring that goal in possibly the first minute, less than the first minute. Literally, I think I remember this game very well. I was down my local pub with my mate Sean, and literally, I think we had that kick of the ball, and I think that was about it. So that bit of a worry, but hey, this season, I would say we've started very promisingly. I go in as the eternal optimist. So we shall see if that is to be proved right or not on Sunday afternoon.
I always get a little bit more optimistic when I'm on this channel. I think it's the effect you have on me. I don't know. But I think my prediction, I know we haven't won at Tottenham Stadium since 2014. It was 1-0. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 to the Arsenal, and Eddie Nketiah is going to score it.
Dial it up.
It's his Rosiecki moment.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. So I think that is a great place to finish today. Unless anyone has any other business, I think today that will wrap us up just nice. Sam, would you like to go for a scoreline before we disappear? I know Sam doesn't like predictions. I know this.
No, I can't blame myself if anything happens.
Fair enough.
I blame myself all the time. It's fine. Don't worry.
It's all right. I'll blame you too. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Look, in wrapping all this up, it's been really, really nice having you back on one of our shows, mate. It's been far too long since we've seen you, so I hope you've enjoyed being here. Would you like to, if I put you on solo just for a second, Sam? I'll take that down for just a minute. There you go. Would you like to tell people how they can find you on Twitter?
Yeah, next to my name on here, so I've made it nice and easy for everyone. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you very much indeed, Sam. Let me just go to there, and then I'm going to turn that one off there. Posh, would you like to tell people where they can find you?
Yes, Twitter at Posh Bertie, Instagram at Bertie Wanless. Yeah,
and you can find. Go on, Toy.
You may have seen I did a bit of a viral tweet today.
Good man.
I'm bragging, and I gave the channel a little cheeky plug.
And you can find our channel at Gooner Gathering on Twitter. You can find me at Gooner Lee Meads. If anyone who is watching, either now live or watching us on demand at any stage, would like to appear on any of our shows, give us a DM, and I'll see if I can get back to you. Little bit of stream news, because we are back tomorrow, 5:00 tomorrow. I have the lovely Fran coming back on, and we are going to bring back Desert Island Kickabout. These two gentlemen appeared on Cannon Chatter doing the Desert Island, and it was a really good show. And this is the first one I'm doing on this channel. So looking forward to hopefully seeing you all on that one tomorrow. So on that note, from me and my illustrious panel, we shall bid you farewell, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.